Hey, it's me, Holly Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm continuing my reaction series to Girls Next Door. We are on season 3, episode 6. It's Snowboarded. This is the episode where we go snowboarding with Shaun White. And in a lot of ways, I feel like this episode was a high point for us. And I will get to why. If you'd hit the like and subscribe and the notifications, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get going with the episode. I just got back from walking my dog outside, and I don't know if my cheeks looked flushed, but it was so cold. So this snowboarding episode is very appropriate for how I'm feeling right now. Oh, this episode opens with me in the office. You can see Duke running across Mary's couch. And I'm in there complaining to Mary, saying I want to be at the studio all the time. And the reason I'm at the house is because the Burton people were coming by to give us some stuff to wear for our snowboarding. So at this point, I don't think I'd been made the Playmate editor yet. I think I was still like interning, but it's always hard to tell where the timeline lands with these because they were shot and edited out of order. Bridgette knew the people at Burton because she used to have like a sporting goods store back in Lodi. So she had them come over and they were kind enough to give us custom-made snowboards that we designed ourselves and all the clothes and gear that we needed. It was so fun. In this office scene, I'm wearing the sweatshirts I had made for us when we went to Disney World. They're like the custom sweatshirts that you see families wearing around Disney World. It had like all the characters, and I forget what it said. It said something about our trip, Walt Disney World trip 2005 or something. I don't know. You guys, I'm still on root probation from my hairdresser. I can't wait to get them done. So the guy who comes by from Burton to give us our stuff, they kind of play it to make it look like Kendra's interested in him, but I don't remember that being the case, so I don't know. But he's a very cute guy, kind of has a Shaggy from Scooby-Doo vibe. And then we talk about how Shaun White is going to meet us and snowboard with us. And I have to know, how much did they pay that guy to do this? Like, I think Burton was sponsoring him, so maybe it was like part of the deal, but I don't know what they had to do to get him to come on our show, but something happened. Oh my gosh, I was obsessed because I didn't know that Burton's mascot is a Yeti, and they have like a Yeti costume that somebody wears and they go snowboarding in it. And that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to just run around in the Yeti costume for this episode, but they didn't have it for me. I like it when they turn me into a Yeti. So we're doing this little fashion show for half with our Burton gear, and I like how I look in my snowsuit unbuttoned. I think it's a good look. And it's funny because he is really cackling when we walk out there, and I wonder why it's so funny to him. I mean, he is getting a kick out of this, like cackling each time one of us come out. And I what's so funny? Am I missing something? So we had to leave super early to go on this snowboarding trip. We were going to Vail, Colorado. It was my first time in Vail. I loved it. It was so cute there. And our alarms went off at 4 in the morning, so we had to leave early. But, and this is one of the reasons I think this episode is a high point, I guess we were just trying to fit in as much as possible because it wasn't the typical thing like you've seen on this show before where we're going somewhere and we have to be in and out in one day and back by our 9 o'clock curfew. Like, we were actually allowed to stay the night somewhere. This is the first time all 3 of us were allowed to stay overnight somewhere without Hef. And that's one of the reasons I think it's a high point. I think at this point in the show, like, we had got a little more confident and he realized the show needed content and we were going to go do this snowboarding episode. And he felt more secure letting us go for one day, especially since the cameras were going to be there and everything and security. So it's not like we were going to be doing anything that he wasn't going to be knowing about, which is kind of why we should have been allowed to stay the night when we were filming stuff on the show the whole time. But anyway, and then there's this weird scene where we all go into Hef's room to like say goodbye before we leave, and he's still dead asleep. And I leave my Chihuahua Duchess on the bed. And I think that's really weird, and I find it hard to believe I actually did that. Like, I feel like after we filmed that scene, I must have ran back in to get her and put her somewhere else because, first of all, that dog, that was a rescue dog. She was 9 years old when I got her, and she had been rescued from a puppy mill. She'd been a breeder for a puppy mill, and she did not trust humans. Like, I had to work really hard to gain her trust. Like, she would growl at people. She would snap at people. Like, obviously she was used to Hef at this point, but still, it's weird that I would just leave her on the bed. I think, like, we have those little doggy stairs so the dogs could get up and down off the bed. but yeah, it doesn't compute to me. I feel like there's no way I would have left the dog in there. That's weird. I mean, Duchess is super happy to be up in bed. Like, she looks cuddly, but I put like one of those dog pee pads on the bed, so maybe I did leave her there. It just seems so weird to me now. So we arrive in Vail and we had a condo all to ourselves. It was really nice. They had like cheese and treats and stuff set out for us. And another reason I feel like this episode was a high point is we were just all having fun together. Like, there was no competition. There was none of like the passive aggressive stuff that I've noticed in some of the other episodes. And obviously this idea, like to go snowboarding with Shaun White, that's way more Kendra's thing than it is Bridgette's or I. But like, we're cool with it. We're totally having fun. Like, we're just going along with it. Everybody's having a good time. We're totally fine that it's more Kendra's thing and she's probably going to get more camera time this episode. Like, everybody's good with it and everybody's just having a really great time. And I wish that's how it could have been for all the episodes. I feel like the scene where you see us walking into the condo, that's every episode of Real Housewives now. Like, that's all. I mean, I don't really watch Real Housewives, so I guess I don't know. So maybe like the one episode I caught, I think is every episode. But you know how it seems like they're always going on these getaways and like walking into their really nice, you know, wherever they're staying. That's what it reminds me of. I remember I was doing a cleanse on this trip. Like, I was putting this weird like clay in my water because I thought it would like make me go to the bathroom. Sorry if that's TMI. Oh my God, when we were on the lift going up the mountain, we saw the scariest thing. We saw paramedics like strapping this injured person to a stretcher on the way up. And that wasn't intimidating or anything. Okay, so there's this interview I'm doing. For some reason, they have me set up across the street at the bunny house instead of in the living room where I ordinarily would be. And I don't like it at all. I'm backlit. My hair looks even whiter than it usually is. It looks crazy. And I don't like it. Like, it's not me. That's not my interview look. Please put me back in the living room. I had chosen this one-piece snowboarding outfit that unzipped and it had kind of this low slung belt around the hips. And I think it appealed to me because it reminded me kind of like Bond girl. Like, you guys are gonna look at this and be like, you don't look anything like a Bond girl. But I don't know, something about the unzipping and the low slung belt. I don't know. Oh my God, they're showing Bridgette at her snowboarding lesson. And there's this person who's like dragging a little kid along. The little kid's on a snowboard and they like have some kind of rope and the kid's hanging out. It's so cute. Oh my God. Oh my God, they have Bridgette losing this bunny tail that she pinned on the back of her snowboarding pants. And she looks back and she goes, I lost my tail again, Holly. And they just cut to me going, and I have my goggles on so you don't see my eyes. I'm just like, so stupid. Okay, they're cutting stuff out of order again because they're showing a montage of Kendra snowboarding and falling over and stuff. And when she falls over, you see her custom-made snowboard, which at this point in the show, we haven't got our custom-made snowboards yet. Replete with continuity errors, this show is. So after a day of snowboarding, we came back to the condo and there were massage tables set up and we all got deep tissue massages and it was amazing. And it was one of the really nice surprises that the show did for us. Another reason this is a high point episode is just like we showed up somewhere and I felt like really got like the luxury treatment for the first time. Because I feel like usually when you see our trips, even though we're flying private or whatever, a lot of it's like more surprisingly downscale than you might think. And part of that is because like Bridgette, Kendra, and I, we all like what we like. Like Bridgette and I love themed things and Kendra just likes down-to-earth sporty stuff. Like we're not, none of the three of us are the type of people who are like, I only want to go to like the trendiest, most expensive place. None of us are like that. I'd say if anybody was a smidge like that, like I'd probably be the closest, but not even. This is kind of the first time we showed up anywhere on a trip where we were like, oh, they rented us this really nice condo and we had like these dessert plates set out for us and we got the massages. And you'd think just being on a TV show, that kind of stuff would happen all the time. But this is the middle of season 3 and this is like the first time it's really happening for us. So that was like really exciting. You know what I'm curious about? E! Was a pretty hands-on network. They had a lot to say about the show, or at least they were really hands-on when I did my spin-off. I don't know how they might not have been as hands-on with Girls Next Door just because they knew Hef was really finicky and he had final cut over things, but they definitely weighed in. Like, I know in the first season, they wanted us to stop filming at the salon. There's way too many salon scenes. We're over it. And I wonder if part of us getting to finally stay the night and kind of getting like the VIP treatment on this Vail trip, I wonder if that was influenced by the network. Like, I wonder if it's like, we're 3 seasons in, can these girls finally stay somewhere? Like, do they always have to be rushing home at 9 o'clock? Like, can we see something a little more aspirational? Like, I wonder if this was the network weighing in. I love a massage. I remember during this trip, I don't remember if it was the massage scene or another kind of quiet scene where we were all in the condo, but one of the camera people farted and it was just so funny. Like, Kendra called it out and we were just like laughing about it forever. Okay, so there's this outfit that I kind of wish I still had. I'm sure it was from Victoria's Secret because literally all my clothes were from Victoria's Secret catalog back then. But it's like this lavender sweater with like a matching scarf and beret. And I wish I still had that sweater set. So I was talking about how when I grew up in Alaska, I used to go hunting with my dad all the time. So like deer meat was the thing. And they do this little cartoon of like my bobblehead coming on and shooting a deer. Not that it's funny to shoot a deer, but you know, vegans don't come for me. So there's this whole big sequence about trying elk. That's why they did the cartoon of me shooting the deer and why I was talking about hunting. And it's just it's back to that whole fetish the producer had for doing scenes where it's like, Kendra tries food. I mean, the scene was pretty much about all of a fair scene, but it was just like, it's not funny. You know what I mean? And on the show, I say I ate elk all the time, but not really elk. It's just regular deer. I don't think there were elk on the island I grew up in Alaska. There's elk in Alaska, just not on that island. You guys, this trying the elk scene is long. Like, they stretched it out. And then they do this like thing where Bridgette tries it and she goes, it's not bad. And then it shows us laughing, but it dubs over sound of us laughing to make it sound like it's the most hilarious thing ever said. And I'm like, couldn't the producers have thought of some kind of story elements for this episode so it's not like this long, slow scene about trying elk? Like, I don't mind the scene at all, and I like my little bobblehead cartoon, but it could have been shorter. I can tell I still have the string individual extensions because there's like, my hair is kind of scraggly over my shoulder and there's like one string. One of the reasons I did the individuals, they were pretty popular in the early 2000s, and a lot of like the high-end salons in Beverly Hills were doing them and pushing them. And they were like the extensions that like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie had. But I think one of the reasons I didn't get like the weft extensions, like the ones that are, if you don't know, the ones that are just like rows that are like sewn into your hair, I was scared away from those because somebody had told me, because when I first moved into the mansion, I had really long natural hair, and all the other girls had extensions, and somebody told me that their hair was like breaking off because they would go get the row extensions sewn in, and the guy who did it used twine or something, and it was breaking all their hair off. So I was like scared away from weft extensions for a really long time. And I don't think they were really doing tape-ins back then. I'm still scared away from tape-ins because all I can think of is that paparazzi picture of poor Britney Spears when she has like a ponytail up and you can like see the tape. I mean, we all have days if we have extensions where they're showing. I just feel bad for Britney because she always gets like photographed and then the photos never go away. So then Shaun White shows up and he was a totally fun, cool, down-to-earth guy. I have no gossip or tea about him. He was all the good things. So on our second day there, we got our personalized snowboards, which we had designed previously. Kendra's was San Diego Chargers themed. Bridgette had a picture of her in bunny costume. And mine was kind of like a hybrid. It had my name on one side, and then the top part of it was red, and it had a Playboy bunny on it and my name. But I wanted like the design in the background to resemble like a holiday Starbucks cup. So if you look at my snowboard, tell me if you think it looks like a holiday Starbucks cup, because you know me, I'm a coffee hoe. I hope this video isn't super short. I'm watching footage of us snowboarding and I don't have a ton to say about it. I just remember that day being really, really fun, and I don't have a lot of commentary. Just trying to go down this rail on our snowboard, and that's a good story. That's a good like goal, accomplish your goal. So we are leaving underwear in a tree. We're creating a panty tree, and I'm not really sure why. And I just can't believe we're saying the word panty so much, because I hate that word. And usually I just say underwear or thong. I don't even really, on the show I can hear it, like I don't enunciate the T. When I say panty, I say panty. And I think it's because I just hate that word so much I can't even say it right. Kendra did not contribute to the panty tree. So it's showing Hef playing cards with his friends, and there's like 5 other guys there, and I don't know who one of them is. How is that possible? Like one is his brother, and then there's John Baker and Ray Manzella. Who's the other guy? So we're wrapping up at the end, and I said, our trip was awesome. I love traveling. It was true. Like I wanted to travel so bad, and I just loved being able to go anywhere. Like if somebody said they were gonna fly me to like the most random place in like Idaho, I would have been so excited, and I would have made the best time out of it. Okay, so takeaways. The worst thing about the episode, I didn't think there was anything really bad about it. I think what could have been better is I think they could have developed some kind of better storyline going into it, because watching us just go down the hill and snowboard for even a few minutes gets boring pretty fast. Like I like the section where Kendra's with Shaun White and she's trying to slide down the rail, because at least that's like a goal, and she keeps messing up until she gets it. So there's a little bit of a story there. But I think you could have cut like me and Bridgette going down the hills a little bit, and you could have cut the elk scene a lot shorter. So I feel like it would have been nice if they would have developed a little bit more of a storyline going into it. But other than that, I really liked the episode. And like I said, I feel like this episode was a high point so far in the series for us, because 1, we got to stay overnight somewhere. All of us got to stay overnight somewhere. 2, we had a guest star, Shaun White. 3, we kind of got like this little luxury experience for us for the first time, like getting the nice condo and the dessert trays and the massage tables and everything. That was just something we never really got in this world. And also just the fact that everybody had fun. Like I have so many fond memories of every part of this episode. There's no tension. There's no passive aggressive, like competing with one another, nothing like that. And like I said, like obviously this is more Kendra's thing and more the thing she's passionate about. Like she was most excited about the snowboarding and the Shaun White of it all and everything. But like everybody's good with it. Like we all totally had fun. We totally had fun, you know, playing our parts in it. And I just wish every episode could have been like that. So that's the snowboarding episode. I'll see you next week for our Valentine's episode. Bye.